Hi, it's Lorraine Jordan, and welcome to my channel. So today what I want to talk about is the importance of referrals and how things kind of changed. Referrals were something that we always did on a regular basis, different towns, different cities. If we didn't know that neighborhood, that community, we would refer it out to the local expert or somebody that we liked, somebody that we met at a networking event, somebody that we had a connection with, and in the end, somebody that we trusted our client with. So right now, it's changed a little bit. We're seeing a lot of people that are referring people to other provinces. If they're moving to the East Coast, if they're moving out west to Vancouver Island, you're gonna find somebody because it's too far away. So what are the benefits of still referring locally? What I find is there are some things that people really just don't know about the local market. So if you're bringing in your buyer, I remember a few years ago somebody saying, oh, it was a really close friend, they would only use me, and so I had to deal with them and I had to find them a property. And I remember at that time thinking, wow, but you don't know what you sold them. Like, you don't know what's happening in that neighborhood. You don't know the changes that are coming because you haven't been reading the local newspaper. And hey, if you've been searching that, because that would be a good tip if you're not referring out, going back maybe a couple years, reading about that area, Googling it, doing a bit of homework, it might help you for a very specific home. But what about just, there's nothing on the market, there's no inventory, you can't find anything. So what could you do to make the difference? What would referring to another agent, what kind of impact would that make on you and for your client? So first of all, it's going to give you more time. Like, it's a lot of work to drive, an hour, hour and a half to get to somewhere, maybe longer, to show properties, to do the inspection, to negotiate, bring back the deposit check if they, maybe that agent requests that. So time that maybe you could be spending in your local market, with your sphere, your database that connect with you. Two, what if they know something off market? As a local real estate agent, we have 55,000 people in our database. We know about properties coming on beforehand. We know about people that would sell with the right price, the right buyer, the right closing date. So maybe that might be a match for somebody for you. And then what about just getting your name out there? What about the fact that you might refer someone and then they might refer someone back to you, or maybe they're referring 2 or 3 back to you? I mean, that relationship happens as well. We find that in some areas, if somebody's coming from the city, that they often, when they buy up here, not just a cottage, but they might have a home to sell in the city, and you could get that referral back. And then it builds trust because you're always doing what's right for your client. When I say always doing what's right for your client, it depends on the property, but especially if it's a buyer lead, like, they need to know what's happening in that area. They need to know the communities. So you're building trust with that buyer client as well. And then cost benefits. What are you spending to run around and do that? I remember a couple years ago, it was actually a real estate agent looking for a cottage. And, they'd send me, what do you think of this lake? What do you think of this lake? What do you think of this area? Well, what do you think of this lake? Well, it's a big lake. This side over here is fantastic. This side over here gets pretty, wet and swampy, and the mosquitoes are terrible. And over here, well, those are the best ones for that sunset view, and they always sell for a little bit more. But that's a hyper-local information that you're able to tap into and benefit when you're referring to a local agent. So in this particular case, they were looking and they kept asking me, and finally I'm like, you're going wider and wider with your search, and especially right now with, lack of inventory. So I don't know these lakes. Like, I don't know anything about them. And she goes, yeah, but it's only an hour away from you. And I'm like, but I don't know that lake. I mean, there could be something, happening, and I'm sure I can Google it just like you can. So in the end, she ended up calling a local real estate agent in the area, so she narrowed down the area that she wanted to be in, and she called a local professional, which I know and happened to be a fantastic agent. And within a week, she ended up in this situation where, she went to put an offer in, the agent said, you know what, that property's gonna go for less than asking. And she said, what do you mean? And she was prepared to pay more than asking for it. But that agent was representing her and told her, like, I would pay less. Let's go in and let this offer and let's see what happens. I mean, you're going in cash, which is fairly rare for this area. Rare for this area? What? It was rare for that area. But as an agent from the outside, she wouldn't have known that. So in the end, she figured that she didn't get paid the commission. She let the agent take the full commission, but that was just a drop in the bucket compared to the $100,000 that she saved on that particular property. So if you have a client looking for a property outside of your area, reach out. If we don't cover it, chances are, after being in this business for 30 years, we have somebody that can help you. We know who that local expert is, and we'd be happy to pass on that name to you so that we can take care of our clients and we can keep doing a great job in real estate.